Welcome back, Lore Masters. We're diving into the Eye of Terror today. Metaphorically, of course, with Battle of the Fang.
Yeah, we've got a really grim one today.
Okay.
Space Wolves, Nurgle's Rot. It's going to get messy.
Oh, you know it. This book is practically begging for a dissection, so we're going to tear into the themes of faith duty and what it really means to be a space wolf when, well, everything's gone to hell in a handbasket.
And believe me, in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, handbaskets, always on fire. But we're going to unpack how this novel tackles the Space Wolves' unique brand of grit, devotion, how their connection to Fenris shapes their actions, and just how much their emotional core gets put through the ringer.
Oh, yeah. And we're going deep into spoiler territory here, folks, so if you haven't cracked open this bad boy yet, now's your chance to grab your bolter and a copy of the book. We'll wait. All right, for those still riding with us, let's set the stage. The story throws us right into the fire on Rasha-K, a shrine world on the verge of being swallowed whole by Nurgle's blessings. Think pestilence, demons, more pus than a Chaos Champion's armory.
And it's not just some random backwater planet. Rasha-K is drowning in symbolism of the Imperium. The Adeptus Sororitas are making their stand there, specifically the Order of the Wounded Heart. Now, you know those battle sisters. They don't mess around when it comes to faith and fury.
Oh, absolutely. These are the women who scare down a bloodthirster and tell it to repent.
Right.
And even they are on the ropes, sending out desperate pleas for reinforcements while Nurgle laughs his...
Yeah.
Well, you know what Nurgle laughs.
Into this delightful scenario drops Jarnhamar Pack, our band of Space Wolf heroes. And by heroes, of course, we mean absolute barbarians with hearts of, well, maybe not gold, but definitely something shiny beneath all that grime and chain fists.
Shiny, sure, but with enough emotional baggage to make a demon weep. Remember, these guys are fresh off another conflict, under strength, and carrying the weight of their own internal struggles.
Oh, they're messed up.
We meet Gunnlaugr Skull here, the pack leader who's basically holding everything together with sheer willpower and a healthy dose of growling. And then there's Ingvar Gerfalken, just back from a mysterious stint with the Deathwatch, talk about a recipe for internal conflict.
That's the beauty of this novel, right? It doesn't just throw space wolves at a problem and call it a day. The book dives into the friction between Gunnlaugr's by-the-book leadership and Ingvar's more, let's call it, flexible approach to following orders.
Oh, yeah.
And let's not forget the rune sword. Ingvar's rocking this blade that practically screams dark secrets and questionable history. Right from the get-go, we know there's more to him than meets the eye. What do you think, listener? Is it a badge of honor or a mark of shame? Hit us up on the Vox feeds and let us know.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into the character dynamics, let's talk about the enemy at the gates. And what better way to introduce Nurgle's finest than by saying, even the descriptions made us want to reach for the air freshener.
Seriously. The author does not hold back on the sights and smells of Nurgle's corruption. We're talking plague carriers, demon engines spewing filth. It's gloriously disgusting. And right into the thick of it go our space wolves, ripping and tearing through the hordes with their signature mix of savagery and tactical brilliance.
There's this scene where they're fighting their way out of a plague ship, the Undrider. Talk about a metal album cover come to life. It's claustrophobic, brutal, and shows that space wolves are just as comfortable with axes and chain fists as they are with their bolters.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But here's where things start to get really interesting. Remember Palatine Bajola, the sister of battle we mentioned earlier? Well, she forms this strange connection with Ingvar, almost like they have a shared history, something they ain't talking about.
And her warnings to him, cryptic, unsettling, and hinting at something rotten, deeper than just Nurgle's delightful touch. She's worried, almost terrified, and her fears seem pretty justified when someone decides to raid the cathedral archives.
Yeah, like who attacks a library, a chaos library at that. It's like they were looking for something specific, something that might explain a few things. Gerunder, the old wolf of the pack, he smells a rat, or maybe a great unclean one in all of this. Something's not right, and it's about to get a whole lot worse. But we'll save that for the next segment. So listener, we left off with a whiff of conspiracy, a whole lot of Nurgle's finest, and our pack of space wolves caught right in the middle. And if you thought things couldn't get any grimmer, well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the meat grinder.
And it's not just the external conflict that ramps up either. The tension between Gunnlaugr and Ingvar, it hits critical mass.
Oh, yeah.
Gunnlaugr decides to bench Ingvar for a crucial mission, citing the need for order and discipline.
Can you blame him, though? Ingvar's got this whole brooding hero with a secret past.
Right.
thing going on.
Right.
It's like he's got a personal vendetta against a chaos god.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's just not good for unit cohesion.
Well, that's where it gets fascinating. See, Gunnlauggr's move isn't just about control. It's about trying to understand Ingvar's changed nature. This is a guy who's been through the ringer with the Deathwatch. He's seen things, done things, things that would make even a bloodthirster reconsider its life choices.
And those choices come back to bite them.
Oh, they.
Literally, in a brutal ambush. Picture this, a narrow ravine, the stench of decay thick enough to choke a carnifex, and suddenly, bam! Plague carriers everywhere, a demon engine spewing filth, and the Space Wolves are fighting for their lives.
And right in the heart of that chaos, tragedy strikes. Baldur.
No.
The heart of the pack.
Yeah.
The one everyone loves. He gets hit with a double whammy of Nurgle's love.
And we're not talking a flesh wound here. The description of Baldur's transformation, the way Nurgle's rot twists his body and mind. Ugh, it's enough to make even the most hardened Space Wolf question their faith. This is Warhammer horror at its finest, folks.
It's a gut punch, and it serves as this turning point for the entire narrative. Remember how we talked about faith and duty being central themes?
Right.
Well, Baldur's fate throws those into sharp relief. How do you reconcile the brutal realities of chaos with the Emperor's light? How do you face an enemy that can turn your brother into a monster?
Right. It's like the universe is screaming at the Space Wolves, "Welcome to the 41st millennium, where even your faith can be corrupted." And if that wasn't bad enough, a new player enters the game. Thorslax, a chaos champion who makes your average Plague Marine look like, well, a cherub.
The author describes Thorslax as this towering behemoth of decay, wielding cleavers, dripping with, let's just say you wouldn't want to be within smelling distance.
Oh, God, no.
But he's not just muscle and bad breath. He's wielding some serious sorcery, making him the embodiment of Nurgle's power.
He's a walking nightmare.
Yeah.
And he pushes the Space Wolves to their absolute limit. But here's where the story takes another turn, and trust me, you won't see this coming. Remember how Gunnlaugr benched Ingvar? Well, that decision comes back to haunt them both, as Baldur is left behind in the chaos.
Oh, no.
Ingvar's caught between a rock and a hard place. Does he obey orders, or does he abandon his brother to a fate worse than death?
And let's be real, in the 41st millennium, there are a lot of fates worse than death.
Oh, yeah, so many.
Ingvar chooses loyalty, defying Gunnlaugr to stay with Baldur. And what he discovers is enough to shake even his faith. Baldur's transformation is complete. He's no longer the brother, the friend, the heart of the pack. He's something else.
It's a heartbreaking scene. And it speaks to the impossible choices these characters are forced to make. Do you hold on to hope, even when faced with the unimaginable? Or do you do the unthinkable for the sake of the many? Heavy stuff, folks. So, listener, we've got a city on fire, a chaos champion who laughs at air fresheners, and a Space Wolf hero wrestling with the corruption of his brother.
Talk about a bad day.
Oh, yeah.
In the 41st millennium.
It's really rough out there.
And remember that attack on the cathedral archives?
Ah, yeah.
The mystery deepens.
Turns
out there was something hidden there.
Yeah.
Even important enough to risk a full-on demonic incursion.
Oh, yeah. We haven't forgotten about that. It's like someone's playing regicide with the fate of the entire sector.
Right.
And you know what they say about games with demons?
Right.
Someone always ends up losing.
And in this case, the stakes are higher than a Warlord Titan's bridge. We're talking about the very soul of the Space Wolves chapter. Remember those cryptic warnings from Palatine Bajola? Well, they start to make a whole lot more sense as the pieces of the puzzle fall into place.
They really do.
She drops this bombshell about a hidden enemy, someone pulling the strings from the shadows. She calls them the Fulcrum.
Ooh.
And let me tell you, it sends chills down my spine just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's like the Illuminati of the 41st millennium, but with more chain axes and less conspiracy theories.
Right. But here's where Battle of the Fang goes from a grim, dark slugfest to a philosophical gut punch. The battle for Achak Alasia reaches its climax with a confrontation that would make even Khorne proud.
Oh, yeah.
Thorslax is cutting a bloody swath through the defenders, and just when it looks like all hope is lost, well, let's just say Baldur makes a grand entrance.
Oh, man, talk about an entrance. Forget thunder's applause. This guy's got a symphony of screams and the stench of 1,000 charnel houses announcing his arrival. He's become something else. Powerful, terrifying, and completely consumed by Nurgle's gifts.
And this is where the novel flips the script on what it means to be a hero. Baldur, twisted by chaos, unleashes a wave of warp energy that incinerates Thorslax. It's victory, sure, but at what cost?
Oh, it's a Pyrrhic victory if I've ever seen one. Hygelasia is saved, but Baldur, he's gone, lost to the warp. It's a gut-wrenching reminder that in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, even victory comes at a terrible price.
The ending of Battle of the Fang is a masterclass in bittersweet storytelling. The Space Wolves limp home, carrying the weight of their losses and the lingering threat of the fulcrum Gunnlaugr, forced to confront his own failings as a leader, realizes that sometimes even the strongest chains can be broken.
And Ingvar,
Yeah.
he makes a choice. He chooses to stay by Baldur's side, even in death, hoping to find some shred of his brother within the corrupted shell. It's a testament to the enduring power of brotherhood, even in the face of unimaginable darkness.
So what's the takeaway for you, listener? Battle of the Fang isn't just another war story. It's a meditation on faith, duty, and the heavy cost of loyalty in a galaxy where hope is a flickering candle in a hurricane of horrors.
It's a reminder that even in the grim darkness of the far future, there are still stories worth telling, heroes worth rooting for, and villains worth hating with the fiery passion of 1,000 melta-blasts.
If you're looking for a Warhammer 40,000 novel that will stay with you long after you've finished the last page, Battle of the Fang, it's a brutal, heartbreaking, and ultimately hopeful tale that reminds us that even in the darkest depths of the 41st millennium, the Emperor protects. Sometimes.
And on that note, listener, we want to hear from you. What do you think of Battle of the Fang? What are your theories about the Fulcrum? Hit us up on the Vox feeds and let's dissect this beast together. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and for the love of the Emperor, watch out for those handbaskets.